Welcome to our podcast. Today we are going on a special journey together. We are traveling back in time to a world of old palaces, shining halls, beautiful ballrooms, and quiet royal gardens. Imagine soft music, warm candlelight, and the gentle sound of silk dresses moving across the floor. Today, we will meet queens and kings, young princesses and brave princes. We will listen to stories from the past, discover interesting facts, and learn new English in a calm and enjoyable way. So sit back, relax, and imagine that you are walking through history with us. Long ago, many countries had large and beautiful palaces. These palaces were the homes of royal families. Life inside a palace was very different from life today. Everything was bigger, slower, and more formal. People wore long dresses, heavy coats, shining jewelry, and beautiful shoes. Important guests from other countries came to visit, and many celebrations took place inside the palace walls. In this episode, we will explore daily life in those royal times. We will walk through golden rooms, watch dancers preparing for a royal ball, and learn about old traditions from the past. Let's begin our journey. Imagine a very large building standing in the early morning light. The windows are tall and bright. Gold decorations shine softly. Long corridors echo with footsteps. This building is the Royal Palace. When the sun rises, the palace windows shine like mirrors. Birds sing in the gardens, and their voices float into the rooms through open balconies. Everything feels calm, quiet, and magical. The palace had hundreds of rooms. Some rooms were small and simple, but many were very large. There were music rooms, dance rooms, great dining halls with long tables, guest rooms for important visitors, tea rooms with a soft smell of flowers, and even secret rooms that only a few people knew about. Many palaces had secret doors. These doors allowed the king or queen to walk quietly without guards or visitors seeing them. Some secret doors led to private libraries, where the king read late at night. Others led to small gardens, where the queen liked to sit alone and think. Royal families needed privacy, so these secret places were very important. Many different people lived and worked inside a palace. Of course, the king and queen were the most important, but the palace could not function without many others. There were servants who worked every day from early morning to late evening. They cleaned rooms, washed clothes, prepared food, lit candles, and helped the royal family wear their long and heavy outfits. There were cooks in the palace kitchen. They baked bread, made soups, cooked meat, and prepared special dishes for celebrations. Some meals took many hours to make. Musicians also lived in the palace. They played harps, violins, and flutes during dinners and balls. Their music filled the rooms with life and beauty. Guards stood at the gates day and night. They wore uniforms and carried weapons. Their job was to protect the palace and watch for danger at all times. Another important group was the royal advisors. They talked to the king, gave him information, and helped him make decisions about the country. And of course, there were princesses and princes. Many of them were young children. They studied languages, music, dancing, art, manners, and history. They had teachers every day and many strict rules to follow. Even though they were royals, their lives were not always easy. But they also had dreams, hopes, and feelings just like any other child. Life in a palace followed a strict routine. Every morning started early. Servants opened the curtains, lit candles or lamps, and brought breakfast. A typical royal breakfast included bread, fruit, tea, and sometimes chocolate. Queens often spent their mornings meeting important visitors. Kings usually discussed political matters with their advisors. Children studied with their teachers. After lessons, many royal family members walked in the gardens. These gardens were huge, full of fountains, statues, and colourful flowers. You could smell roses and lavender everywhere. Sometimes, princes rode horses. Princesses walked calmly with their ladies-in-waiting. Clothing in the past was very different from today. People wore heavy materials and many layers. A simple dress for a princess could weigh several kilograms. Dresses had long skirts, lace, ribbons, and shining stones. Colors like blue, pink, gold, and white were very popular. Men wore jackets, long coats, trousers, and shirts with wide sleeves. At balls and celebrations, they also wore gloves and hats. But remember, getting dressed took a very long time. Sometimes a queen needed 3 or 4 servants to help her. Imagine how difficult that was. Now, let's talk about the royal ball. A royal ball was a big celebration. Many important people came to the palace wearing their best clothes, their most expensive jewelry, and their brightest smiles. The palace prepared for days. Servants cleaned the ballroom. Cooks prepared many dishes. Musicians practiced, and guards organized security. The ballroom was the most beautiful room in the palace. It had a high ceiling, shining lamps, colorful curtains, and a polished floor for dancing. Large mirrors were on the walls, and golden decorations covered the corners. At night, when candles burned, the whole room looked like it was shining. Musicians entered before the ball started. They played violins, harps, and pianos. Music filled the room and made everyone excited. Guests arrived in horse carriages. You could hear horses, voices, and laughter in the front yard. Women wore beautiful gowns. Men wore elegant coats. Some guests even came from other countries and spoke different languages. The ball was a perfect place to make new friends or to talk about important matters. And then, the most magical moment. The queen arrived. Everyone stopped talking. They turned their heads to the door. The queen entered slowly, wearing a long dress with diamonds and pearls. Her crown shone under the lights. The king walked beside her. People bowed deeply as a sign of respect. After the queen arrived, the dancing began. The first dance was usually a waltz. Couples held hands and moved slowly in circles. Their clothes flowed beautifully with every step. The soft sound of shoes, the gentle melody, and the warm lights created a magical atmosphere. For many young princesses and princes, the ball was the most exciting event of the year. Some hoped to meet someone special. Some simply wanted to dance all night. Here's a fun fact. At some royal balls, people changed their clothes several times. A dress for greeting guests, a dress for dancing, and another one for dinner. Royal dinners were huge events. The dining room had long tables covered with white and gold cloths. Candles were everywhere, making the room warm and bright. Cooks prepared meat, soup, fish, vegetables, fruit, and sweets. Food was not only for eating, it was also a way to show wealth. The more dishes they served, the more powerful the palace looked. People ate very slowly. Royal dinners sometimes lasted 2 or 3 hours. Musicians played soft music between courses. After dinner, guests walked in the royal gardens. At night, the gardens looked magical. Lanterns in the trees, fountains shining in the moonlight, and the smell of flowers moving in the air. Couples talked quietly about dreams and adventures, while soft music came from the ballroom. It was peaceful and romantic. Queens looked strong and calm, but their lives were not always easy. They met guests, signed papers, attended ceremonies, and helped the king with political matters. Many queens supported charities, built hospitals, and helped poor families. Some were very educated and loved reading and art. Royal children lived strict lives. They woke up early and studied many subjects. Princesses learned music, French, dancing, and embroidery. Princes learned horse riding, sword skills, geography, and politics. But they also played in private gardens and had picnics near lakes. Princes often had toy soldiers to learn strategy in battles. Princesses had porcelain dolls with tiny royal dresses. Every palace had secrets. Some people said long corridors became cold at night. Others believed the ghosts of old kings walked silently. Servants told stories about strange sounds or mysterious lights in windows. One legend says there was a hidden library in a palace, known only by the queen and her daughter. Another story tells about a princess who lost her diamond necklace in the garden. People believed it brought good luck to the person who found it. As midnight came closer, the music slowed down. Guests became tired. Some sat and talked quietly. Others danced one last time. The queen finally stood up and left the ballroom. That was the signal that the ball was over. People walked to their carriages, still smiling. Servants cleaned the ballroom, musicians packed their instruments, and the palace slowly became quiet. Life in old palaces was beautiful and elegant, but also full of rules and responsibilities. Kings and queens lived in luxury, but they also worked hard. Servants worked day and night. Children studied for long hours. Still, these times left us amazing stories and traditions. When we visit old palaces today, we can feel the history in the air. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine you are standing in a beautiful ballroom, listening to soft music. The past is not gone. It lives in stories like this.